Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Friday night live stream for studentloanjustice.org. It is Friday. It's not June 1st. It's June 17th. And let me just make that happen for you. So I hope everybody had a good week. A lot going on right now. There's a lot of noise in the zeitgeist right now, guys. The short list of actual significant things that have happened, well, there's maybe 3 or 4 or 5 things. First of all, the most recent, a recent poll found that majority of Republicans, believe it or not, I think it was like Republicans under 50, actually support loan cancellation. That's something that's important. That was reported at the Business Insider. That's politically significant because Republicans are idiots. More than half of all student loan borrowers are Republican or independent, by the way. And by wagging their fingers at us student loan borrowers, which is what they've done, they are trying very hard to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in November. Shame on them. So stupid. What is conservative about fighting for the worst big government, college enriching, red state wrecking, veteran wrecking, senior wrecking, loan scam, unconstitutional loan scam in U.S. history? There's nothing conservative about that. Republicans should be on our side, ladies and gentlemen. Let me back up. Welcome. We are studentloanjustice.org. We are the oldest, largest, in many ways, only true grassroots group fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. We're fighting for 2 things: the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. That lies at the core of everything. Whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy does not matter. The founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws in the Constitution. There's a good reason for that. The leverage of bankruptcy is what is needed in order to get Biden to do anything meaningful on student loans. Ladies and gentlemen, the up to $10,000 loan cancellation, or whatever that is, the up to $50,000 loan cancellation that we're hearing about, that's all nonsense, guys. It's going to come to almost nothing for almost everyone, as long as the threat of bankruptcy remains gone from us. Very important point. You will not hear anywhere else on earth but here. And it's true. Believe me, we've been around for 17 years now. We've got over 1 million people in our group now, which is really good. Our petition, change.org/cancel student loans, is now up to 1,150,000 signatures. It's growing pretty quickly too, by the way. Tell a friend about it, change.org/cancel student loans. So that poll happened. That's good. We spend 80% of our efforts, guys, trying to compel Republicans to, at a minimum, co-sponsor our bill, S-2598. So S-2598 is a bipartisan bill. It's got 2 Republican sponsors on it: John Cornyn, Josh Hawley. Dick Durbin is the prime sponsor, who's a Democrat. So it's a bipartisan bill. It's in a very good position. It will return bankruptcy to federal student loans. This is the most important thing in the student loan universe. Forget all the noise. Forget all the bullshit about up to 10. Is Joe Biden going to cancel $10,000? Is he going to cancel up to $50,000? I don't know. That's all nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. Biden is not going to do anything meaningful as long as bankruptcy, the threat of bankruptcy, remains gone. Few people, maybe no one, will even have to file, but we've got to have that threat back. So our bill is in a perfect position. It's looking very good, ladies and gentlemen, but this stuff does not happen in a vacuum. We have strong opposition behind the scenes in Washington, D.C., because they know what I know, and what I know is what I just told you. Bankruptcy lies at the core of this whole thing. So we have to push, guys. We have to push harder than we ever have. We can't count on any of the other groups out there to push for bankruptcy. They're not doing that. And shame on them for that. You know, I would call them idiots, but I have to think there's got to be a little more to it, because anybody who lives and breathes and works in the student loan area and knows anything about student loans knows what I know. And what I know is that bankruptcy lies at the core of this whole thing. So whether you would ever or never file, few people, maybe no one will even have to file when we get the right return. But only when that happens are we going to see meaningful, actual, widespread loan cancellation. So whatever you want for your loans, whether you want them completely canceled, whether you want some sort of a fair middling workout, a break on interest or something, whether you need to file for bankruptcy, whatever your situation is, you need to be fighting for S2598 right now. And oh, by the way, if you have private student loans, you need to be fighting really hard for HR 4907. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, HR 4907 I don't see it passing. I do not see it passing this session. I just don't see it. That could change, but it will have to start with you. So if you have fully private student loans, like not federally guaranteed, not federally owned, you need to fight for HR 4907. And we'll help if we see people doing stuff, but right now I just don't see it happening. I do see S2598 happening. That is the most important thing, guys. So, by the way, if you have any questions or comments, if you're watching us live on Facebook or Twitter, then by all means throw them out. And if I can see them, I will gladly respond to them. So what else is going on? So Senator Dick Durbin, who I just mentioned, he in the past 2 weeks has not once but twice reiterated his intention to get S2598 passed. That is a very good thing. That bodes very well. And by the way, I think 2 weeks ago, roughly, there was a scathing op-ed by a bunch of shark conservatives. I said in Politico, terrible people, etc. They argued forcefully against student loan cancellation. Again, that's just stupid. These people are idiots. But the silver lining in that whole thing was that it was a featured Politico article. They did call for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. So that bodes even better, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see a real good, in fact, I don't see any meaningful partisan solution to this problem kind of really happening. We've seen what the left is going to do. We've seen how Biden reacts to the left. He kind of dismisses them, doesn't take them seriously. And we're just not going to see meaningful student loan cancellation or possibly even bankruptcy. If it's a left versus right thing. We've got to get Republicans on our side, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to actually solve this problem. And so I'm just thrilled to tell you that, like I said, our bill is now bipartisan, S2598. 2 Republican senator co-sponsors on this bill. So but we're continuing, we're seeing cracks develop in the entire student loan apparatus. I mean, that's maybe the best news I have for you today. The system is crumbling, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake, student loans are finished in this country. The lending system is catastrophically failed. The lending system is broken. It cannot be fixed. It should not be fixed. Before the pandemic, most borrowers were not paying. Before the pandemic, most borrowers not paying on their loans. Today, almost nobody's paying. And if they were to turn the lending program back on tomorrow, I would be stunned if 25% of the borrowers resumed paying on day one. And I would be even more stunned if even 15% of the borrowers were still paying 2, 3, 4 months down the road. It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. Student loans are vanishing into a mist of illegitimacy. The best thing for all involved is to end the lending program. In the past month, we finally stood up and are now calling publicly for the president to immediately suspend the lending program. No more loans going forward. and use the next year and a half or so, fund the colleges directly at a reduced rate. I would say 70% funding rather than $100 billion a year. Let's say $70 billion a year in direct funding. But spend that time, a year, hopefully less, year and a half, hopefully less, replacing the catastrophically failed student loan program. There's a lot of good ideas out there for what to do that don't involve loans. We can do this. It's not a big deal. But I mean, honestly, if this was a more local problem, like if this was like, I don't know, like let's say a dilapidated basketball court at a community rec center, and if the community came and took a look at this basketball court, like all the rims were bent, the backboards were like graffitied, and the poles were bent, and there's just massive divots and potholes in the pavement. Yeah, you know what they'd say? They'd say, tear this fucking thing up, tear it out of the ground and redo it. That's what they would say, and that's what would happen. That's just common sense. And I think I probably was being too kind to that basketball court, because if it was a real fair analogy, that basketball court would be way worse than how I just described it when you look at the student loan program. So yeah, guys, the only question is, and that is where we, meaning me and you and everybody on this group, come in, is whether we're going to get a good, quick, clean death to this lending disaster in a way that makes everybody happy, improves the economy, allows 42 million distressed borrowers get on with their lives, and turn the page on this bad dime store, cheesy horror novel, or whether we're going to see a very long, painful, slow, civilly unrestful, disgusting, swampy unwinding to this failed lending program. We want that first thing, guys. We want that first thing. And that is where 100% of our efforts are aimed. And as I said, that starts with bankruptcy, guys. It just does. Joe Biden could have a press conference tomorrow and say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cancel up to $50,000 in student loans. And the band will cheer and the parade and all that nonsense. And what will happen is nothing. It will be bureaucratized to death, up to our lawyer words. There's very good reason that Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer introduced those weasel lawyer words into their proposal. Now, we're a nonpartisan group, by the way. We pretty much hate both parties in roughly equal measures at this point. The Republicans are the bad cops. The Democrats are the good cops. It's all just fake. And we're thrilled that Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer took the concept of canceling student loans by executive order and ran with it. And by the way, that started with this group. March 2020, we started the petition that it was only when we were blowing up in the national news and we had 500,000 signatures, or even more, like 700,000 or 800,000, I think, when Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer embraced the concept and called on then President Trump to cancel loans. But whatever, we're glad that they did it, but we're very angry, quite frankly, that they put this up to $50,000 weasel wording into it. That was a trick, and it continues to be a trick today. Don't fall for it, guys. Be smarter than that. Hey, I see we have some comments here. Let me just jump right into them if I can do that. Oh, that's the wrong video. Hold on a minute. Hopefully no, that's the wrong one again. So what else is going on? I'm not even going to bore you with the daily tit for tat about, is Biden going to cancel 10,000? Is he going to cancel more than 10,000? What's he going to do? It's all nonsense, guys. This stuff does not happen in a vacuum. What we do matters. By the way, there would be no bankruptcy bill to fight for, but for the people on this group. We would not be talking about student loan cancellation by executive order, but for this group. I kid you not. So if you're new to the group, this group is a little bit more important than we would appear. If you do a Google search, a Google media search for student loan cancellation by executive order. Media. The very first instance of any news media report that came out on that topic was an interview with us in Vice News in August 2019. So good on us. And that all started here. That all started with you and me and everybody out there who was involved with that. You guys know who you are, and we should be very proud. But and we've come so far in the past 2 years. I think everybody realizes that, certainly all of our older members. But we've still got a ways to go, guys. We just do. That's just the way it goes. Hey, Eugenio. No, not big news. Just the fact that a recent poll came out saying that most Republicans now favor student loan cancellation. That is important politically for us. Jim Smith says, just don't pay. You know, Jim, I have to say I'm right there with you. This lending system is a beast. It should not be fed with your good money. It should be taken to the bath and drowned in the tub. Don't feed the beast. People are going to do what they're going to do. It will be what it is. But I'm telling you, if anybody out there does ever pay another dollar into their federal student loans, you will be in the small minority of all borrowers, because almost nobody's going to pay. No one's paying today. Almost no one will ever resume. If 15% of the borrowers resume paying, I think that will be about what I would expect, maybe a bit surprising. So things are coming our way with the Republicans, I guess, are Eugenio. That's the most significant news that I can point to. Some other small things happened. The Senate actually did pass a bill which allows people trapped in those spousal consolidation loans to break up with their spouses. Usually they're divorced from them at this point. So that's news. I guess it proves that the Senate is not useless. Like, they can do stuff. There's only like 776 borrowers who are trapped in these joint spousal consolidation loans. So it's a tiny thing, but at least they prove that Senate can actually pass a bill. Hey, Vanjie's with us tonight. Vanjie says bankruptcy is neither good nor bad. It is a lawful relief remedy for those needing it. Bankruptcy sucks. I think most people would agree. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. But Vanjie's right. The founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws, not in the Bill of Rights, in the body of the Constitution itself. They called for it ahead of the power to raise an army and declare war and build a navy and make a post office and stuff. But those first two, raise an army, declare war, those are pretty important powers. And the fact that they called for bankruptcy ahead of those powers, in fact, it's near the top of the list of enumerated congressional powers in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. Bankruptcy is extremely important. And some so-called student advocates would disagree, and they're full of shit. And quite frankly, that's suspicious to me. And I could talk more about that if you want me to. There's a 17-year history to the sneaky people who claim to be fighting for students when in fact they fought tooth and nail to keep bankruptcy rights gone from the loans. That's actually a thing, ladies and gentlemen. And I won't bore you with the details unless you ask me to, but it's a thing. We have opposition, guys. We have opposition. We can overcome that opposition easily when even, 10 or 15% of the people on this group actually help us fight, like on a daily basis. And to that end, the most important action item that I have for you today is to go to our website, studentloanjustice.org, and do a week, maybe even a month worth of our daily actions. It will help. We need you to. This is not a wait, watch, and worry group. This isn't, hey, donate us some money and we'll pretend that we're fighting this battle. No, that's not what this group is. This group is a fighting, working group. We're not here for your entertainment. And you're not better than us, by the way. I happen to know we have some very accomplished people. In fact, I'm looking at some names right now on the live stream tonight. very quality people, very smart, intelligent, well-educated people. You are not better than us. You can't sit there and eat popcorn and cheerlead. We need you getting your knuckles dirty, as everybody I see here tonight is doing. Hey, Aaron's with us tonight. Hey, Aaron. If you go to our website, Jim, studentloanjustice.org, you can see the daily action tab at the very top of the page. We update it every so often. I think it's current up to like last Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe. But if you haven't done any of our previous daily actions, do at least a week's worth, if not a month's worth. You need a Twitter account. I hate Twitter. You hate Twitter. Everybody hates Twitter. Twitter actually works. You know, we got a really nice story done on, what was it? I think it was like NPR 3 weeks or a month ago. Due to Twitter stuff, like connections we've made through Twitter. We've gotten a lot of stuff done through Twitter, guys. I'm just going to say it's better than Facebook for networking. So get a Twitter account. If you don't have a Twitter account, you don't like Twitter, get a Twitter account. Even dedicate a Twitter account specifically to doing our daily actions for student loan justice. Do that. Nobody's going to pull your weight for you on this group, guys. We are as grassroots gets. Hey, Leslie Fishman says, been fighting within scope and range. We need to step up the game and heat. I know, Leslie, right? Like literally, if 10% of our group were doing these daily actions, that would be around 130,000 people every day doing our daily actions take like seconds to do. It's like retweet this, and this. That's usually what a daily action is. It takes you like all of a minute or two to do. If even 10% of our members did that every day, we would destroy the Twitter accounts of everybody who we targeted every day. You don't usually see 1,000 retweets on something, let alone 100,000 retweets. If, as I said, guys, we have such a huge muscle, guys, you have no fucking idea. Pardon my French. But I get really angry when I see almost nobody doing these things. Like on any given day, I see maybe a couple thousand people doing stuff, maybe. And that's out of a group of 1.3 million people across all of our platforms. Now, everybody I'm looking at here, I see them doing the hard work. And it's not even hard. I see them doing the work. And I see them enjoying themselves, by the way. We win every battle that we fight, including on Twitter. We have a nuclear strong argument, both for bankruptcy and for student loan cancellation. It's like, what the fuck? What are people out there? What are people doing out there? These are your loans, and this is your problem. And if you're doing the daily actions, if you're doing the stuff, you know I salute you. We are truly the tip of this spear. We are truly the veterans in this historic battle. We are the pioneers, and we've got a lot to be proud of. But to everybody else, fuck, man, if you're not going to help, just go. Get away. Go. Just go. We don't want you here. You know, it's fun to fight this battle, believe it or not. The country needs us. The founding fathers are on our side. I sleep like a baby at night. It feels good to do. And a lot of people are depending on us. So why would you not be at least doing our daily actions? I don't get it. Hey, Eugenio says, talked to Senate Alex Padilla's office staff today regarding S-2598, and the staffer said that Padilla supports I think you mean 1098. That is the bill I just talked about, Eugenio. That's the small bill where people can break apart their joint spousal consolidation loans. And as I said, if I had to guess, I'd say less than maybe 4,000 people are locked into these joint spousal consolidation loans. A couple of them on our group, and I'm glad that they got the bill passed. But this is nothing. This is 4,000 people, maybe 5,000 if I'm being generous. So don't let the Padilla people go, oh yeah, look, we did something on student loans. That's bullshit. We need them to co-sponsor and push S-2598. The Democratic Party included the return of bankruptcy protections in their party's platform in 2020 and 2016. There's a great bill. Dick Durbin is a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. there's no good reason for Democrats to be waffling on S2598. And I don't think they will. I think as soon as it comes up for a vote, it's going to pass probably with 65 at least out of 100 members of Congress. I think it'll be strongly bipartisan. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it passed like 90-10, seriously, because there's no argument against returning bankruptcy to student loans. There is no argument. And all the criticism that the opposition that we faced over the first 15 years of our 17-year existence, that has all dried up and gone away. So, but the bill has got to come up for a vote, and it has to not be sabotaged behind the scenes. That is the biggest danger, guys. So we need you fighting with us, because this bill could still die. It could. Much depends on what you do. You have no idea how important you are, I guess is what I'm saying. So you should really, and I know other people are calling Padilla's office, are Eugenio. Don't let them off the hook. Be tough with these fucking people. They work for us. And remember also that we're a nonpartisan group, guys. We, as I said, the Republicans are the bad guys, Democrats are the white hats, but we're sick of both parties. But the Democrats have control of both House and Senate right now. They have not had control of both House and Senate since 2007, or I guess 2007 and like 8. Is that right? Not well. No, I guess not since 2007. Since Obama was in office. Okay, let's just say that. I think they had control of both House and Senate, both in the 2007, 2008 session and in the 2009, 2010 session. So, and they got Obamacare done during that time. But here we are again. It's been what, 12, 15, 16, how many years? 13 years. It's been a lot of time since that has been the case. So the Democrats are sitting on an extremely historically rare control of Congress. And if they squander this chance they have to do what they said they were going to do, they are going to be eviscerated in November. And there is nothing that you or I or the Democrats or anybody can say or do to prevent that from happening if they squander this very rare historic control they have of both House and Senate. So a guy like Padilla, we shouldn't even have to ask those people to co-sponsor S2598. Hey, Vanjie says, I know what Vanjie's going to say, and this is very important. Some new statistics. They're not new statistics. Well, okay. We published a research white paper about a month or so ago showing that there are around 56 million student loan borrowers in the country. That includes private student loans, by the way. So that's private student loan borrowers, private student loan cosigners, and also federal student loan borrowers. 56 million people. That's a lot. That's enough to elect a president nearly. But 80% of these people, oh, that's another fact. 80% of these people, like 42 million people, are in distress over their student loans. 42 million people is about 1 in 5 of all American adults in this country. 209 million adults in this country. 20% of them are distressed on their student loans. So if you're in a bar with 20 people, what is that? It's like 3 other people in that bar are screwed on their student loans. They're losing sleep over them. Whether they tell you or not, that's a huge percentage, guys. And by the way, this is really important, Vanjie, and everybody out there. You know, I've been saying since 2020, I've been saying that 80% of all student loan borrowers were underwater on their loans even before the pandemic. That's true, 80%. That's astonishing. That's jaw-dropping, right? But my source for that is Wayne Johnson, a friend of mine, actually, friend of ours. Not the best guy in the world, actually, lately. He ran for Congress, and he's a Republican. He did some very sideways things on student loans during the campaign, but whatever. He's a trusted source. He ran the federal lending program under President Trump, and I know him well. And Wayne Johnson, I now know, I should have known this a long time ago, but Wayne Johnson actually said in September 2020, so over a year ago, that it was actually 85%, not 80%, 85% of all federal student loan borrowers are never going to be able to repay their loans. 85% underwater. So it's not just 42 million distressed borrowers. It's probably like 45 or 6 million distressed borrowers. We have no idea how strong we are, guys. I need you to tell everybody about this group. If you know 5 people with student loans, more than 4 of them, like 4.2 of them, are underwater on their student loans. They need to be here on this group helping us fight. They need to be signing our petition, change.org/cancel student loans. Get them here. They'll never know about us unless you tell them. And you'll probably never know about their student loan problems unless you ask them. So it's just the private, embarrassing nature of this problem is our biggest enemy, by the way. You need to break those chains of silence off. That's the biggest threat that we face, and it's self-imposed. Tell everybody you know to get on this group to sign our petition. We need them fighting. And they need everyone to be fighting. That means they need to be fighting. They need to be that change. Hey, Kate Bacco says, can Navient garnish wages for unpaid payments? I'm not sure what you're trying to get at there, Kate, but yes, wage garnishment does happen for defaulted federal student loans. I've heard cases where people can get their wages garnished for defaulted private student loans, but that's very rare. They need to get a court order to do that. Private student loans also have, unlike federal student loans, have statutes of limitations, by the way. So if you're in default on a wholly private student loan, it's a good chance they're getting close to their statute of limitations. You want to be very aware of that. But even if you have defaulted federal student loans, there's a million ways to avoid wage garnishment, guys. It's not hard to bulletproof yourself, and we recommend everybody strongly look into that. You can be a 1099 contractor. You can own your own business. You can avoid wage garnishment quite easily. If you can convince your employer to tell the collection goons who contact them to produce a court order in order to do the wage garnishment, they're going to leave you alone. They're going to go down to the next easier prey on the list. You can also, believe it or not, a lot of our members are able to keep their loans out of default in the first place by making a nominal payment every 269 days or less. That's actually a thing. Now, legally, it's not illegal, certainly not. Legally, there may be a way for the lenders to put your federal loans in default, even if you do that. But I've never seen that happen. Everybody I know that pays like $20 every 9 months or less, every 8 months, let's say, their loans are kept out of default. So there's a million ways you can bulletproof yourself, guys. But again, in my humble opinion, do with this whatever you want. In my humble opinion, it is not only unwise, it is unpatriotic to ever pay another dollar of your good money into this failed black hole, cheesy rat trap, unconstitutional, nationally threatening lending scam. It's idiotic, in my opinion, idiotic and unpatriotic. It doesn't help you, doesn't help anybody. All it does is feeds the beast. Yeah, a lot of people got talked into consolidation many years ago, Kate. It's a big racket. The biggest racket is loan rehabilitation, by the way. It's like, oh, you have a defaulted loan? Oh, yeah, we can get your loan out of default. You just have to pay for 10 months. and then you sign for a new loan, a new much larger loan, and then the people that get you to do that get a 16% commission on your ass from the federal government. Usually, it's the biggest racket in the world. Rehabilitating defaulted loans is just poisonous. Hey, Kate, she says, my hubs had $5K in loans in 1971. They were taking his tax returns every year until we were married in 1998. They put his $35,000 and rolled it into my loan, all now just in my name now. So there's a downside to these breaking apart these joint spousal loans, apparently, and I think Kate is living proof of that. Which I never really considered, but I guess that actually makes sense. But that's the kind of nonsense we see all day long, guys. We see $5,000 loans become $50,000 albatrosses. We have, like Vanjie, borrowed $26,000, has repaid $100,000, still owes $135,000 on this $26,000 loan. Pardon my French. This lending system is poisonous. And in my opinion, you're a fool if you pay into this scam ever again. What are you doing? Don't feed the beast. My opinion. Oh, and I'm so sorry. I was going to mention this at the very top of the broadcast. Guys, we're selling shirts. We don't do merchandising very often, but Lisa in Los Angeles. Oh, and I put a little thing there. We're selling shirts. They're Nordstrom quality t-shirts. These are like Saks Fifth Avenue t-shirts. They're not cheap, by the way. But Lisa says if we can sell 4 more shirts, then that puts us over 10. And they'll actually be able to print and ship the shirts when that happens. So they're awesome shirts. Okay, please get a shirt. I think they're going to be collector's item. They're looking more and more like they're going to be extremely limited edition. So, and we are making history here, guys. You never know. We could blow up. It could happen. We've been featured on 60 Minutes, by the way. We were on Fox News like 2 months ago. We've been featured in The Guardian and NPR. And I said 60 Minutes top story. I said that. Wall Street Journal. We've done interviews with, you name the person. And I probably have talked to them. We would like to go on Tucker Carlson very soon, by the way, knock on wood. But this group is way, way more historically important than you might think. So get a shirt, get a t-shirt, damn it. If nothing else, support the cause. I think we get like 10 or 12 bucks or something for every shirt that sells. So it's certainly for a good cause, as you know. You can go to bit.ly/SLJ shirt. You can also go to bit.ly/cool SLJ hat, and you can get a cool hat, which I have one on the way, but I haven't gotten yet. So I can't show it to you. Hey, Leslie says she got a hat. Hey, Misty Weiscarver says she ordered a hat and a shirt. Wow. Thank you, Misty. That is fantastic. Last I heard, I think we were up to like 7 or 8 shirts. So we need to sell like 2 or 3 shirts or something like that. And thank you, Lisa Ansel, for honchoing that whole thing. There's 4 styles of shirt. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to go on about it. We're not here to make money, guys. So, you know, we don't make ad revenue. We're not trying to build an empire or get rich or anything. We are as grassroots gets. Like most months, we struggle to pay our freaking utility bill because the only place we will take money from, except for these one-off swag/merch things that we do like every few years, we only get money from personal gifts from typically distressed student loan borrowers. So, yeah, we're not trying to get your money, guys. What we need, what is far more valuable than any money you might donate, even a million shirts that you might buy. What is far more valuable are your actions. Your actions are worth their weight in gold. You know, it only takes one person to convince, for example, I don't know, let's say Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida. It would only take one person to talk to the governor's chief of staff, for example, just spitballing here, show him the big numbers, There's $120 billion in federal student loan debt, mostly federal student loan debt, hanging around the necks of mostly Republicans and conservatives in Texas, in Florida. Did I say Texas? I meant Florida. Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, $120 billion in mostly federal student loan debt. That is enough to buy Disney World 60 times over. Disney World assessed value $2 billion. That's true. Ron DeSantis should not be wagging his fingers at us. Ron DeSantis should be saying, Mr. President, enough. I will not let the great state of Florida be conquered and enslaved by debt owed mostly to the federal government. I will not do that. This is a states' rights issue. This is a state sovereignty issue. Mr. President, I, Governor Ron DeSantis of the great state of Florida, call on you to cancel every nickel of federally owned student loans and return bankruptcy protections to all student loans, including the ones that you can't cancel. Get that done, Mr. President, because we here in Florida are not doing it. If even one person, could be you, should be you, if even one person can convince one governor like that to do that, that's kind of game over. That's kind of game over. We win, guys. You know, we're a nonpartisan group, but we are partisan aware. And right now it seems to be this nonsensical D's versus R's thing. And that's stupid. The Republican governors of the states of Florida, Texas, Indiana, the entire South, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Maryland, Missouri, Alabama, North South Carolina, on and on and on, the entire South, including Texas and Louisiana. All of those governors, most of them Republican, like 12 out of 13 of them are Republicans. They should be on our side. They should be standing up to the colleges, to the federal government, and they should be calling out the president and saying, President Biden, cancel these god-awful loans that are ruining our state. Plural, states. You could be the person that makes that happen. Your actions, you have no idea how important you could and should be. You could save the freaking country. You know, they're like, oh, there are no more Supermans. You could actually be a Superman type hero. Like literally saving the country by convincing a Republican governor to do that. What else can I say? What else can I say to get you off your ass doing at a minimum our daily actions? But really, and we told everybody on the petition today, do something special over the weekend. We want you to do something special for the fight for student loan justice this weekend. This weekend, we're asking you, we're begging you, do something special. We don't know what it is. You're smart. You can figure something clever out. What I just said is a one possible example. Maybe you live in a state with a Republican governor, but you can think for yourself. We have smart, clever, creative people on this group. Do something special for the fight for student loan justice this weekend. Don't tell us what it is. Don't ask us what to do. Come up with something and do it. Make something happen. Surprise us. And let us know on Monday what that thing was that you did. Maybe you took a video of yourself burning your student loan papers and you threw it up on Twitter or something. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Your actions mean everything. You know, if people could donate us $5 million tomorrow, and that really wouldn't make much of a difference. I mean, yeah, we could start writing checks to congressmen in Washington, D.C., I suppose. But guys, we can't compete with the big money, $1 trillion interests out there aligned against us. Money's not going to solve this problem for us. It's just not. Your actions are what is going to solve this problem for us. Some bullshit student debt crisis, Washington, D.C. Beltway, fake student loan advocacy group who they're like, oh no, just sit back and relax. We're going to take care of this whole thing. They're not going to solve this problem for you. It'll never happen. They want you sitting on your ass doing nothing. Our opposition wants you on your ass doing nothing. They want you waiting and watching and worrying and reading bullshit articles from bullshit writers like the student loan swamp creatures at Forbes magazine. That's what our opposition wants you doing. Don't do that. Don't give. Do you not want to withhold that pleasure from them? I could have worded that a little better, but you get my point. We need you fighting. We need you in this fight. And there's no, I don't know what else I can say. No words, guys, no words. But do something this weekend. Surprise us and let us know what you did on Monday. And we would love to brag about it. Get a shirt, get a hat. Sorry, Lisa, that I didn't mention that at the top. We got this, guys. We got this. You have no idea how important you are. You have no idea the muscle that we could flex right now. Big, beefy Popeye muscle that we have. When even 10% of our group do our daily actions, that's where we will be. So fuck the other 90%. I don't care about those people. I want you to be in that 10% who are actually doing the daily actions. And when that will get us there. Don't worry about everybody else. Only worry about yourself. These are your loans. This is your problem. We know the right path. We are on the right path. All we need is you, and that's it. So, okay, guys, I'm sorry if I missed some of your comments, particularly if I missed you on Twitter tonight. But I've never been more hopeful than I am right now here tonight. We've never been in a better spot. All we need is you. Don't forget that. Good luck, Godspeed, and God bless everyone. Let's make this happen this weekend. Peace.